Hi, I'm Toby Hodges. Welcome to Port Ginesta, Barcelona, and the brand new Beneteau Oceanis 52, the first boat from their 8th generation, the year before Oceanis range turns 40. So this 52 is designed to replace the 51.2, which was designed by Barry Racketbo, who then started designing for Hansa. So Beneteau wanted to use a different designer, obviously. And so this is a Roberto Biscontini design, Italian America's Cup designer. And he knows what he's talking about. He does like a fast, powerful hull shape. Anyway, I was meant to be going sailing on this now, but it is properly blowing dogs off chains or Beneteau furniture away from the dock here. So I'm going to walk the plank for you now and give you a guided tour of the boat. And if you didn't believe me, we went out on the lagoon this morning, but it is now blowing, so 38 knots in the marina here. And the problem here at Port Ginesta is when it blows from that direction, you get a standing breaking wave at the entrance. So yeah, it's just not safe to go out. Anyway, it's a good chance to have a good look on board this design, so we might as well start from the aft here. So I'm on the swim platform. These look like a good idea to me, these inflatable gangplanks. Apart from when everything's moving around like this. You've got a 700 litre storage compartment in there, and then this aft bench area is an option it's an option that both works as an aft bench but also plants your grill in there, so you can stand here and do your cooking, etc. It also helps, I think, seal this off, because if you look at the new 47 next to us, I stand up here, that's just like an open transom, which is what it would be as standard. So when you've got this here, it helps sort of create another zone. Why? Because a big thing they wanted to do was increase the size of the cockpit. Cockpit's where everyone spends their time, over the 51.2, and I think this, I don't know, I would be guessing the stat now. Let's just say 40% bigger. There's a good number, why not? Anyway, how they've done that is they've taken the beam right aft here, and that's why I was showing you that hull shape before. It is a beamy hull right aft here, which means you can increase that cockpit space, and they've got a sort of, they call it a diamond shape to it. There we go, if I stand here, you see that shape. That gives you these 45-degree angles here on the aft parts of the cockpit benches, so you can sit on those and then you sit here aft chatting to someone else back there. That's why I think that's quite a good idea, having that option there. There's a little beer fridge in there as well. The other thing it does is create a safe passage out to the side decks. So there's space in front of the pedestals, in between that and this bench, to walk and step out nicely, rather than trying to hurdle over a coaming or walk around tight here. So that's deliberately done because the wheels are pushed right far outboard and right in the quarters here. So from these pedestals you're getting a good sight line forward, nice position to drive the boat from. But you can also still walk around here, so I can do a route around this area. So I can either get out to side decks right from aft or up from those 45-degree steps. And then, as I say, from this wheel, you've got your main sheet and your primary winch basically for the German sheeting and the headsail sheeting, right to hand, easy powered winch there. Good to make it powered, because when everything's tucked into the quarters, it's quite hard to be able to get the purchase to grind away. And there is a little tail locker there as well, which is again important, because when you're right aft like this, it's easy to have a bit of a mess of lines in there. And then you've got your usual stuff, a nice pedestal, throttle controls, etc. on there. This has got lifting platforms for when you're at heel, lift one of those up, good bracing. And yeah, there is more line stowage here. So these forward winches are more for the running rigging. So they're coming from the mast base, run under those coamings, through the clutches to this winch, also powered. I imagine that's an option. But these benches here also serve to act as tail line stowage for that, plus a bit extra. So they are performing a role there, a practical role. In here is storage essentially, and if most people would choose it, I'll open it up now. Most people will choose a generator. This is where it goes. So it's not for dinghy stowage. You may have noticed the eagle-eyed amongst you, telescopic davits there. So that's an option, or I guess you would retrofit davits on there for the dinghy, because there's not enough space in here. Let's open it up. So there's the generator, which I imagine most people will take, especially those who like their aircon from water makers. There are optional extra tankage for both fuel and water on here, but you can see it's not big enough for any sort of dinghy stowage in here, because you got obviously twin rudders on this really beamy shape, direct linkage from those steering wheels, and it's on Dyneema as well. So yeah, good Jeffer system which is linked between those two stocks. So one will be independent, and you got the autopilot of that. If you lose one, you can use the other. And then further back there, you might just be able to see those are the big hinging mechanisms for the aft swim platform. Bit of the spare vinyl wrap there as well, this funky purple colour. And where this new 47 is new to the range as well, to replace the 46.1, they didn't want to mess with that one too much. I mean, the 46.1 was a cracker, Phenoconch design, and they've kept those designers for their smaller boats, and it works. So the first half of the boat they've kept, they have brought the beam again further aft, the max beam, to create a larger cockpit on that. So they're both new molds, both these boats, they're both new changes. Just explaining a bit about the designers for them. Still use Nauta for the deck styling and the interior design. So yeah, this one, this 52, full Italian stallion design. Moving forward, the longitudinal tracks for the overlapping head sail on the deck here. Can't tell you what that's like pointing wise, because I haven't been sailing on it yet. See space for the extra solar panels on here, and this just has a sort of bridled German main sheet system, so sheeted sort of nearly halfway along the boom there, forward to the gooseneck, back here under the coamings, and running to that aft winch, because it's this black fleck line. So back to that clutch there, so that the helmsman is operating both the main sheet on one side and the head sail sheet on the other. Look at these push-up vents in the skylights here, and see what they're like. I'll try pushing one up from the interior. An extra solar panel there. I guess you can have a self-tacking head sail on there, and there's the pad eye for a stay sail in here. This is a huge sail locker, and I say huge because it's actually big enough to have a four-peak cabin in a skipper's cabin in here. In fact, this actually has got one. Look, it's been fitted out. You can't see it all because there's a head sail. There's I guess a furling code sail stuffed in here with the sheets and stuff. But there is the cabinetry and the bed, which would go athwartships here within that. So any private owners, I would imagine, keep that empty as a sail locker, and there's the majority of your stowage in there. Your deck stowage can go in here. Equally, I can't open up the anchor locker because they got this safety line going over to the 60 next to us to keep us in place. But you see the flat deck furler for the Genoa, bow roller and the bowsprit and the tack point at the forward end. You see it's a huge cockpit. The shape helps, the beam helps. You've got really clear access through it, but still lots of space. So these tables drop down to fill in those spaces. You can see the telescopic legs. Nice to actually have stuff. Been on quite a lot of boats lately that haven't actually got places to put cups and bits and bobs, camera, binoculars, that sort of thing. Yeah, you've got these huge, Beneteau have done this for years, but these sun beds, you know, in complete protection under the spray hood there. And these things there, they do stay up in all weather really. And it's just a really big space because it increases the whole cockpit space here, leads you into the companionway area. This is, you can put your life raft here or back aft, as I said before, and then it's a big long companionway hatch there to ease your way into the interior. And I think this is a really inviting interior. I think they've done a great job, both Narda Design and Beneteau. Why am I saying that? Because that was the real push with this yacht, was to offer increased perceived value for money. So what they've done is put a lot of thought, time and care into the details to try and give what you might be able to see here is the impression of you know, a high quality yacht, and the value for money for it as well. So let me give you a few examples. You know, it's this sort of thing you probably won't be able to see, but the really thick cushioning, really thick ply. I mean, these are super comfortable. It's not just a grey or beige offered interior, you know, it's offered the different furnishings in different colours like this and terracotta and something else. Big mirrors here to give the impression of space, to really sort of use this beam a lot. And they went to, also the important one as well is solid edges on all the Alpi joiner work. Well, it's not joiner work, but the Alpi woodwork. It's these didn't use now 2mm solid on all of these edges and the fiddles on every piece of cabinetry, which will make a big difference over time as well. The other thing they did was they, you know, this 40th anniversary, this new generation of Oceanis, they went back to a lot of the old Oceanis owners, saying, right, how can we improve? How can we improve on the 51.2? How can we improve on the past models? And this layout, especially for the owners, really, rather than private owners, rather than those going into charter, so 70% private ownership. So it's a 3+2 cabin layout. Yes, the 30% that do go into charter, there's a 5 cabin and 3 head layout as well. And for that, some of those things I was talking about, they wouldn't get that. They'd have more laminated woodwork, that sort of thing. But you get on this 3+2 layout, you get a sort of really good size galley with domestic appliances, and forward of that, a proper home office. That's what you call it these days, I guess. It used to be a chart table, but it's a proper desk, and that's what clients wanted, basically. And those are the two sort of main areas you lose if you go to 5 cabin, because you can see that is a cutaway in the headline in there for putting the extra head in that area. And I mean, they call it 5 cabin, but it's you get 2 instead of a master cabin up there, and that 4-peak I showed you. But yeah, to get the extra head in there, you lose this. And this galley is like being at home, isn't it? I mean, a full domestic sized fridge and freezer, dishwasher, lots and lots of space. And this, not just inboard, giving you something to hold on to and something to brace against when working at the sink and a bit at the stove as well. You've got a proper sized double bin there as well, and I like a proper sized double bin. All these areas all fiddled as well, plenty of work surface, and look how big those sinks are. Really deep drawers, soft clothing. I mean, it's a big galley. You could spend a lot of time on board if you've got a good sized workable galley. So then you've got 2 double cabins aft. That one had a made up bed and the pillows and stuff on it. I don't quite know why they've chosen to put all the cushions in here. So many boats you seem to lose a cabin at the moment to put all the sunbathing cushions on. Anyway, this is what it looks like, not being made up. So yeah, a big double berth. They're not offered as 2 separate singles, or even though it looks like there's probably the beam enough to do that. A little bit of stowage, and I presume outboard as well. Charging sockets, reading lights, headboard aft. And then this cabin has its own access into the head compartment. Some engine access through there. Let's go in from the main one. So yeah, 45-degree head and separate shower compartment. Nothing unusual there. It's nice to have a switch panel here right at the companionway base. Turn different systems on. Looks like we need some water. Another thing I like they've done on here is chosen to screw down all these floorboards. I can't stand floorboards creaking. And then just give access to the areas you need it. So if you've got a bit of galley stowage in that one, for example, this one I think is to access plumbing. Yeah, so if you want to switch tanks, you can do so easily in that. Probably storage, yeah, wine bottles in there. And it just means you don't have to get suckers out for all of them. Starter batteries under here, more storage in this one. What's in here? More storage and access to keel bolts. They've also worked hard a lot on the lighting, soft focus, dimmable lights. Yeah, I know this is a boat show look, but it does look very, very smart indeed at the moment. And with all that increased perception in value, they've also offered the first units at a discounted rate. I'm opening up the access to the engine bay because this is another thing they wanted to point out, is that's 110 horsepower Yanmar as standard, which is what their competitors don't offer. That would be an expensive upgrade. It's also very good access to it. Yes. What was I saying about there? About the discounted offer, and it's helped them sell 40 of these boats already just during these autumn 2025 boat shows. So it's working. Looks like this table fills in this whole area as well. If you were wanting to make it a coffee table, or I don't think you'd make it a berth. Good bottle stowage around here, more stowage under here, and in this cabinet here. Yeah, there's stowage beneath all of the seating, shallow, but normal stowage beneath there, more bottle stowage. This is a great area, isn't it? So this inboard end lifts up. If you're at heel, a bit more stowage beneath here, but what a comfortable spot this is. Sit here to do your work, maybe even passage plan. You got eyes on those who are in the cockpit. Don't want someone coming on board you don't want. But really, really comfortable desk to sit and work at. Yeah, I think that will be of a lot of appeal to people buying this boat. Now look at the size of this owner's cabin in the 3-cabin format. It is huge. I still got, I don't know, 3 headroom right up to the berth. But look how much space there is either side of that, either side of it. It is vast. So if you had the 5-cabin format, well, I'm going to call it 4 because it splits down the middle there, which is why also they've gone for this, I think, very intelligent approach to have a separate one side shower, and that's a really big shower area with a head on the other side. Just makes a lot of sense. I know you have to do that, you know, you need those areas anyway if you were going to the extra cabin, but I think in this format works well. Plenty of space and storage, plenty of stowage in those tall wardrobes each side, and raised lockers surrounding this berth. Nice bit of styling as well. Tell the Italians are involved. And those blinds. Yeah, maybe not in a pounding upwind seaway sleeping on there, but yeah, when you're in dock, in the med, away from the dock, away from the noises, what a comfortable cabin. Plenty of space underneath it. So they have made good efforts of making a lot of storage space for those people spending long periods of time on the boat. Yeah, and these are one of those vents we saw on the hatches, the Rutgerson hatch. There, so you just push that, and now you've got natural ventilation. That's a good idea. Don't know if we're going to get sailing, so if it hasn't been any sailing by the time you're watching this bit, I'm sorry. Hopefully we'll bring you that one day. So this is a 14.5 ton yacht. I was talking about the tankage. It's 200 litres of fuel is standard, but you can add another 200 litres. It's 420 litres of water as standard, but you can add another 300 litres of water. And then there are a ton of options on this. The extra cabin in the bow, a lot of this upholstery. This has got an elegance pack on it, an offshore pack on it, performance sails, the generator I mentioned, solar panels, the extra water tank, the stainless steel burners on the oven and grill, dishwasher, air conditioning, mirrored bulkheads. So quite a lot of the stuff I mentioned are actually options. Electric heads, that sort of thing. So there is a lot contained on here. I really like the hull shape. It looks like it'll go. And I really like the interior styling, I must admit. I think they've done well on their objective of enhancing the perceived value of it. And in terms of cost, you know, it starts at 490,000 euros ex-tax. But this has got a lot of options on it. As I said, I went through a few of them, and that means that this boat, as you see it, is 300 more than that. So it's 800,000 euros ex-tax. So yeah, it's another lesson in don't always look at the standard pricing. I know they've done a lot to increase the value, but you need to look at what everything is with all the options you might want on it. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the tour.